We've been saying that when people say, where's the name come from? We'd say, because everybody deserves a freaking beer.
Welcome to TapThatAZ, the show where you get to meet the awesome people behind the best craft beverages across the state of Arizona. I'm your host, Eric Walters. In this episode, I hang out with Tommy and Renae from Freakin Brewing Company out of Peoria, along with their sales rep, Phil. We talk about freaking beer. So grab a beer and let's tap into Freakin Brewing Company. So I am on 101 and Olive Avenue. Is that how you would describe it best? Mm-hmm. Okay. And I'm at Freakin Brewing Company with Renae, Tommy, and Phil. Mm-hmm. So do you guys want to introduce yourselves? Say what you do a little bit. Who wants to start? Tommy. They're all pointing at Tommy.
All right. I'm Tommy. I don't know what to say now.
You're one of the owners, right?
Yes, I'm one of the owners.
Okay.
And I made up the name, or identified that it was available, and said, hey, let's call it a Freakin Brewing Company.
Yeah.
Or the Freakin Brewing Company, and it turned out that's what we got, Freakin Brewing Company.
Freakin Brewing Company.
And I recruited Renae to help out.
Okay.
And she's one of the owners as well. And then a year later, we got Phil. Phil
He's
jumped
like your
in.
brewery child.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my official position is the sales rep.
Okay. All right.
But as we have 3 of the 8 people who work here are owners, and then we've got some brewers and someone to work the tasting room. We all pretty much wear a lot of hats. So
okay.
I'm not just the sales rep. I also do deliveries, do draft stuff. I get to help brew from time to time.
Nice.
Yeah. So
that's pretty
that's
cool.
what I do here.
Renae?
Yes. This is Renae, and I'm one of the owners. I'm the operations manager. I kind of tell everybody what to do and when to do it.
She's the engine that drives the freaking van.
I felt that when I came in. I'm like, she's in charge here.
Yeah.
Nice. So, and you guys have been open since, what, 2015?
2014.
2014, that's right.
2014, yeah.
Okay.
3 years. We've been open for 3 years.
31st of May,
Yeah.
2014.
Yeah. Nice. And today
3 years exactly.
Exactly, today.
Well, not quite today. The 31st of May will be officially 3 calendar years, but we are celebrating 3 days for 3 years starting today.
3 days for 3 years. Okay. And so when this comes out, it'll already be past that, but people need to know that we're celebrating now, right?
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
So,
that's what we're doing.
So why a brewery? Like, what made you decide that you're going to open up a brewery and make freaking beer?
We were drunk.
Yeah.
All good ideas come from drinking.
Yeah.
And living in San Diego at the time.
So that was very much a contribution to it. I spent a little time with encouragement from Renae working on an enology and viniculture degree. I thought maybe I'd open a winery. I was saving money and finished up that degree, and ended up getting sidetracked because all the great beers we found in San Diego.
Yeah.
And so along that same lines was part of the intent of figuring out, how much money I really need is I recruited my father to go ahead and invest into it as well. He said he would invest into it, but he'd prefer that if we could get more family members involved. And so at that time I had my stepbrother and my brother-in-law both brewing. And heck, I changed the business plan to a brewery, and the numbers worked even better than the winery. So I figured, let's do that.
Yeah.
And a lot of the same stuff you learn when you're studying how to make wine is applicable to how to make beer,
Okay.
especially on the yeast side. And that was one area I really found a lot of excitement in. I thought that was fun. Yeah. Watching single cell organisms grow, right?
Right, we all do. We all do. Yeah.
Yes,
I have a lot of
riveting.
The best part is, they eat sugar,
Yeah.
And then what else do? They fart CO2 and piss alcohol.
Nice. I have kids. They do the same thing pretty much. Yeah. So, well, that's pretty cool. And beer's better than wine too, in my opinion. I mean, you know.
I like it more. I'm not going to shun that industry at all because I know they do some good stuff. I can appreciate that, but if I had my choice, I'd rather grab a beer than grab a wine any day.
Yeah, that was Phil, just to clarify.
Yes.
Yeah, making a stand. Yes. So that's pretty awesome. You guys came from, so San Diego, California is, California, Colorado, Oregon, kind of the meccas of craft beer. And you guys ended up in Colorado then as well, right? Or you lived in Colorado, Renae.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Renae
and I met. Funny, we met at a beer garden
Did you really?
We did,
Nice.
yeah.
Ah, it was meant
In
to
Durango.
be.
in Durango, Colorado.
Yeah. Nice. So what brought you to the hot air of the desert, the hot wind?
It's where his dad and brother-in-law,
Okay.
they all live right here in Sun City, Glendale area.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Right. So you came up with the freaking name. That has to have a story to it.
Yeah, I was looking for a name that's memorable, a little bit edgy, but fully acceptable.
Okay.
And I think this one qualifies.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, it's acceptable because it's a way of not saying the words that Phil wanted to say on the show, what I told him you couldn't.
Yeah, if we had to put like F asterisk
Yeah.
C,
Right.
that wouldn't go over too
No.
far.
Oh, that's not the intent either.
No, it isn't. We've been saying that when people say, where's the name come from? We'd say, because everybody deserves a freaking beer. So.
Oh, nice. I like it. I like it. So you
Simple.
come to the freaking brewery, you got the freaking van outside.
I do have the freaking van. That is my work vehicle, my mobile office, my delivery truck, our very prominent marketing tool.
Yeah.
It's kind of all that in one.
It's when you see that driving down the street, you notice it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure.
Did you notice it's got a spot for tap handles on the side of it?
I did not notice
It
that.
actually does. So on the very
Nice.
top of the van is a Thermo King refrigeration unit so that we can keep
Okay.
the inside all cold.
Yeah.
And we have 4 tap hookups where we can grab a CO2 bottle, hook up lines to the kegs, put taps on the outside, like faucets on the outside,
Yeah.
and just pour right out of there. So if you see us at like beer fests and stuff, quite oftentimes we'll be pouring out of there instead of like a jockey box.
Okay.
And it's just kind of different. Not many people are doing it that way. So
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that. So when you guys go to like Made in the Shade, you don't have the tent and all of that.
Correct.
You got over the side. Nice.
Yeah.
That's
So we invite people under the tent, and it's a little, because the beer's behind us, we got a little
Right.
bit more room to play around with, and it's eye catching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys should just like set up at like Home Depot or something like that.
Right. Some people have called when they see us walking or like driving around, and it's like you're sort of like the adult ice cream man.
Right.
Only a lot better.
Yes, much better. So when you guys started the brewing, before you guys opened, you guys were making beer before. Is that right? Did I read that correctly?
Yeah, we pretty much had to make a little bit of beer before, so we had something to brew or to sell when we were open.
Right, yeah. But did you guys do samplings or something at spring training, or I thought I read something about that?
And we were there at a spring training event by the city of Peoria,
Okay,
and that was right before our license was approved.
okay.
So we did not provide samples
Oh, gotcha.
at that
Okay.
particular event. We did not. But,
Gotcha.
we were creating excitement, told people we're going to be here, and that's what happened. A few months later, we actually opened.
Nice. And you guys were the second. You were telling me before, your second one in the
Second
West
one
Side,
on the
right?
West Side. Yep.
Yeah. Been pretty receptive over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a great bunch of locals.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Nice.
You see their faces every week.
Ah.
Yeah.
And you guys are starting to distribute throughout the valley too, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when I signed on with the company in November of 2015,
Uh-huh.
about month or so after I moved to the Valley from Philadelphia. And I was basically just going around to any place that had beer company or brewing company or any type of beer-centric business, and putting out a resume because I wanted to get a job in beer.
Okay.
And I came in here on a Friday and talked to Renae, and after finishing one of the flights that you have, I was like, hey, so you guys looking to hire anybody?
Right.
And she's like, funny enough, we actually are. So then we did the formal interview process and figured out that it would be a nice match between the two of us, and been hitting the ground running ever since. And we distribute to all corners of the valley, down into Tucson, the greater Tucson area, up in Prescott, Cottonwood, Sedona, and Flagstaff as well.
Okay.
So all in all, in terms of from the time we opened to this very moment, we're closing in on 100 different places that have bought our beer in terms of steady active accounts that will buy our beer throughout the entire year. We're looking somewhere around like the 70 to 75 range.
Okay.
Because some accounts have closed since then and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've got a pretty strong presence right now, and we do it all ourselves right out of that van.
Yeah.
It can hold approximately 12 kegs at a time, give or
Okay.
take, depending on the sizes.
Yeah.
And we deliver every week, and have been doing it strong for the better part of the last year and a half.
Nice. And so the first time I had your guys' beer was at Mellow Mushroom on Happy Valley and Happy Valley, right?
17 in Happy Valley, yeah.
Yeah, they have such a great selection. So anytime I see something local and I've heard your name, the catchy name, right? I'm like, oh, I gotta get a freaking beer.
Yeah.
So it was the American Hero, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I always quote superhero for some reason, but American Hero. So when I saw you guys were gonna be doing a tap takeover, I'm like, oh, I got it, and that's where I met you guys.
Yeah.
You and Allie and Jeremy, right?
Jeremy, yes.
Assistant brewer.
The assistant brewer, yeah.
Yeah. So and you said that's the biggest seller of the American Hero?
So not exactly just the American Hero. They are actually my number one account.
Oh, really? That
So
specific mellow mushroom
that
too,
specific
right?
mellow mushroom. And if you
Nice.
want to lump the rest of the ones in the valley together as one entity, which they're independent businesses.
Yeah.
But if you want to lump them together, they make up a very sizable chunk of how much beer we sell, because they're so popular. Every one of their locations are always busy all the time.
Yeah.
They really move beer very well, and we've had a great relationship with the beer buyers that have been there at the Happy Valley location specifically, and that they love our beer. They sell a lot of it. The regulars that come into that place have come to know and love it.
Yeah.
So they kind of want it around all the time, which is nice for us. That's what pretty much any brewery can hope for when you make a beer and you got people wanting it constantly.
Yeah.
And they're, like I said, they're the best location for us for it.
Yeah. There's not a lot going on up there. I live up there, and there's a lack of good craft beer up there.
Yeah, there's a couple of other businesses that are more or less, Mellow Mushroom's a national chain, but more or less straight chain related that are not beer centric. I know that there were a couple of places in Anthem a little while ago that did some craft, some rotating craft, things like that. But
like
as
a
far as
sandwich shop or something.
yeah, as far as I know, that place had closed down. So at any rate, they're pretty much the only game in town up there.
Yeah. Well, thanks for taking your beer there, because I get to enjoy it.
You can thank my girl Kara for that too.
Kara? Okay.
Kara, if you see Kara there, she is the beer buyer, and
Nice.
we have a great relationship. She's fantastic.
Awesome. Well, she does a great job, because there's so many good beers there.
Yes.
Like I get like analysis paralysis of like, all right, I've narrowed it down to 7, but I can have 2. But so what's your guys' what's the approach to the beer? Because there's a few things here that you don't really see. I don't know if I have the jalapeno red.
So you have this list.
I got that list.
on our
Okay.
side, yeah.
The white IPAs, I don't think there are enough white IPAs out there, and I'm having this right now. This is, and I love the name too, Whippersnapper.
Yeah.
Yes. So how did you guys come up with the brewer? The brewer's name is Bill. Bill's the head brewer, and then Jeremy's the assistant.
Yeah.
You give them free range of what they want to do?
No, we kind of all figure out. Phil's been pretty good about telling us, where the market is going.
Okay.
And what we should be looking into trying
Right.
to brew. The Whippersnapper, though, was actually one of our very first brews when we opened.
okay.
We've improved it since then.
Yeah.
We did some tweaks to it, but that's a variant of one of the first brews.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And so how did you come up with your ideas? Drinking?
Renae and Phil come up with most of the ideas.
Oh, okay.
Well, it is, like Renae said, it is very much a group effort.
Yeah.
We kind of pull our collective heads together to figure out what kind of flavors inside the different styles that we want to create. For example, with the Whippersnapper, we wanted to use a single hop. So we said, based on the ingredients that we have in it thus far, what's the one hop that we want to feature in that one? And it ended up being Citra.
Oh, gotcha.
Another one that I believe you have on there is the Vic Secret Blonde.
Yes, that was the first one I had.
Yeah, okay,
That's
so
fantastic.
that was a part of a haul of hops that we got, 5 different kinds that we had never used before.
Okay.
And Vic Secret was one of those different varietals.
Gotcha.
You say and I say varietals for grapes, but do you say that for hops too?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So one of the hop varietals that we had never used before. So we wanted to create a beer that would feature it, but not be too dominated by other ingredients and other flavors. So we picked
Yeah.
a really super light blonde recipe and then exclusively hopped it with Vic Secret so that you could get the full experience of what Vic Secret is without it being masked by either other hops or heavy grains or additives and things like that. So we also decide beers based on the season.
Okay.
You know, we're not going to brew a Russian Imperial Stout to release it in July.
Right.
That would be a little foolish.
Yeah.
So we move seasonally as well, and then, you know, it's always fun to do something that you've never done before, and I'll be the first to admit that it doesn't always turn out the way you expect.
Sure.
But it's fun to experiment and try something new. So we said, you know, never done this style before. Let's try it and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I like that. Renae and I were talking about, like, typically you don't see hops in blondes. Like
Yes,
the blondes.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes it really good though. But it's subtle, and it's. She explained dry hopping to me. I'm still.
Yep.
I have a beer podcast, but I don't understand everything yet. So yeah.
I work for a brewery,
Right.
and I still don't understand
That's true.
everything yet.
Okay, good. Make me feel better, Phil. Awesome. So Renae was pretty proud too of her the Freaked Out beers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to explain that?
Yeah, so Bill the brewer brews all this really good beer, and then I get to take a little bit, a keg at a time, and infuse different flavors and and play around with those beers. And so every once in a while you'll see a Freaked Out beer on a tap list somewhere.
That's actually what this one on the reverse side is going to be. So we're going to have
gotcha.
a sort of Freaked Out Friday where every single option is something unique, one-of-a-kind keg.
Yeah.
With a different combination of flavors that we've ever done before.
And you do those every Friday?
No.
Well, not this to this extent, but
No, every once in a while.
Oh, gotcha,
Since this
okay.
is our anniversary, we're doing that for this Friday.
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
But as beers become available for me to play with, I'll throw something unique on once in a while
Yeah.
on the tap room here.
We also have this really cool device that we purchased from Dogfish Head. It's an item that was patented and trademarked by them called a Randall.
Oh, yes.
A Randall
Okay.
is basically a device that has a chamber that gets filled with ingredients, and the beer passes through those ingredients as you pull the tap forward like you're pouring a beer, just normal style.
Right.
But the beer has to pass through this chamber of ingredients, and as it does, it strips out the flavor. So it infuses it onto a pint by pint basis,
Okay.
because we don't make the whole keg that flavor.
Yeah.
And we do that a lot more regularly than we have Freaked Out beers.
I think that might
the
have been,
lineup.
we call it the Freakin' Friday. Is that what that is?
Actually, we do it on Saturdays. We call
Okay.
it Randall Saturdays, and we don't do
I've
it
been way off
every
with this
single
stuff.
Saturday. We don't do it every single Saturday, but we do it always on a Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So what are some of the crazy things you've done with the Freaked Out beers? And
Well, we've done a lot of different ones.
Yeah.
And depending on the beer, you got to get the combination of ingredients and beer right to really maximize the flavors in both.
like ratio-wise, you mean?
Ratio-wise, and also selecting ingredients to put with it.
Okay, I gotcha.
So that tends to get a little tricky, and they don't always work out fantastic. There's two that stick in my mind that we've done larger batches of, though. One is a coconut porter. We have a beer called Just a Freakin' Porter, which we release in the fall.
Okay.
And we put flaked coconut into the Randall, and that came out incredible, so we made an entire batch that way. And then we also did cilantro and lime in our American Hero Pale Ale.
Interesting.
And that actually came out really good,
Really?
too. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I was like, that could go either way, but
I mean, you
it worked
gotta like
out.
cilantro,
Yeah,
obviously,
right.
which is sort of a polarizing herb. I feel like not a lot of people like it, but I
It
do.
is. People either really like it or they don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really cool. And so you guys can kind of experiment with things before it goes like large scale.
Yep.
Wow. I like it.
Sort of a pilot, sort of an R&D kind of thing.
Right.
And it's kind of that educational thing for your customers. They can learn how different flavors will interact and just open their eyes to something new.
Yeah.
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 That's the fun part.
Do you ever get people that are like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
All the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But they still try it?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Yep.
nice. That's all you got to do. Just, like I tell my kids, just taste it.
They don't have to
It's
like it.
teriyaki chicken.
We try.
One of the most interesting ones is some of Renae's favorites is the peppers. So we'll do different peppers. And for example, this Friday, we've got that 3-pepper whippa.
Yeah.
So
And that is 1 habanero, 1 jalapeno, and 1 serrano pepper.
Just a
Just
single.
one.
It's all
Just
it
a single
takes.
one. That's all it takes.
Wow.
Into that keg. Yep.
And have you tasted it?
I've had, yeah, I made it before.
Oh, you
It's
made it
good.
before. Is
It's
it
good.
just fun?
It just gets you that little burn in the back of the throat. It's not
But it's
overpowering.
pleasant.
It's a pleasant burn.
Phil's looking at me like, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like,
really good.
Yeah. Nice. And also, there's a pepper for there's a jalapeno in the red, too.
That one's really popular.
That sounds
one gets asked for a lot.
Amazing. Yeah.
That one's a little milder, though.
Okay.
You're going to get a lot of fresh pepper flavor, but not as much pepper heat. I think we only put in jalapenos in that one. Is that right? Yeah, so
Okay.
a little bit lower on the, what is it, Scoville units?
Something
I think
like-
that's
I know
what
what
it
you
is
mean,
for
yeah.
heat, right? So you get a lot of fresh pepper flavor, not too much heat. And also the whippersnap of the base of it is a little bit lighter, which means the peppers will be a little bit more pronounced. The
Okay.
base of the red is a little heartier, a little maltier, a little sweeter.
Oh,
So the
makes
peppers
sense.
don't necessarily, blast through as much as they would
Right.
with a lighter beer.
Okay. Gotcha. And some of the other ones I'm reading here are like a rosemary based IPA.
That one's a brand new one, so
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Have you guys tasted it yet? Tasted it
I
yet?
tasted a little sample when I was deciding whether it was going to work or not.
Okay.
But I
And?
haven't tasted it on the big scale. I liked it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why I did it.
I like
So we'll see.
rosemary and I like IPAs, so
There's a brewery
try
down in Chandler that has made a rosemary IPA before, and I remember really digging it. I actually haven't had this test batch yet, so we'll see what that's like.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So I just like you guys are experimenting and like it's like let's see what works. Let's see what either way it gets drank, right? Someone's gonna drink
Someone's gonna drink
it.
it.
Someone's gonna drink it, yeah. Right. I've known lots of people to drink like natural light, natural ice. So if you're gonna drink that, you can drink a jalapeno red beer, yeah.
I had that too when I was 20
Oh yeah.
and in college.
It's what I grew up on. Like if I was like really feeling it, like I would get like Killian's. Like that was like the pinnacle.
Right.
Otherwise, Natty Ice, Natty Light. Remember Bud Ice?
Yeah.
Bud Ice. Oh yeah, that was brutal. Oh yeah. Ice House. Yeah. Anyways, this is a craft beer podcast. So, so you guys, is there any events that you guys do too? Like, do you guys? I know you guys get food delivered, right? Like, if people here, they can. have
People
food
can get
delivered?
delivery as often as they want. They can
Okay.
bring in whatever they'd like, and occasionally, especially for special events, anything big, we'll have food trucks come in.
Okay.
And in fact, on Saturday, for the last of the 3-day celebration, we will have, I don't remember the name of it,
Off the hook taco truck.
Off the Hook Taco Truck.
Okay, that was Allie. So I feel we have to introduce Allie. Allie was in the background of the Davina episode, right? So if you heard like
Right.
glass breaking and things, yes. So Allie, do you want to come?
She
say
said she
hi?
was making a lot of noise.
She's like, nah. She's like, I'll
I
pass.
was just setting up, just like I am right now.
Right.
Open it up, but you did hear a lot of it on the other one, so I don't know how much you can hear on this one.
Okay. We at least heard her voice on this one. Okay.
Exactly.
So that's Allie. Yes. So events. You said when you do have events, you get the food trucks and stuff. Like, so what type of
Yeah.
events do you guys do?
Well, for here we've done certainly every anniversary has always been a bigger celebration. let's see, we did a Christmas blowout like growler special day once. That was a very large event. What else have we done? We did a thing where we did a freaked out lineup, just like we're gonna have tomorrow.
Okay.
Where all 8 beers are unique and special infusions. We did that in January.
I think it was January.
January.
Okay.
Where we,
Yeah.
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 So,
Nice.
different things like that here at the brewery.
Yeah.
But we are known. I mean, you alluded to it earlier, the tap takeovers
Yeah.
at Melon Mushroom.
Yep.
We do different things like that in various different capacities, depending on what like concept we're actually at.
Okay.
Throughout the calendar year, throughout the week, sometimes on the weekends, and then obviously the beer fests that you mentioned too. Those are basically the 3 different kinds of events we do, either at a bar, at a fest, or here.
Gotcha. Okay. So what's your goal with this? Like, do you have an idea of where you want to take this? Tommy and Renae are looking at each other, shaking their heads.
The goal at this point is to make great freaking beer that people want.
Yeah.
And so with Phil's help and his great passion for it, he knows how to describe it all to all the customers. And we've been on track of being able to do that and grow.
Okay.
It's been, we started it up and it's been self-financed up to this point. And we're continuing to work it that way. We'll see how it goes from here.
Okay, gotcha. So just taking it as it comes, making great beer. It's a good start because your beers are really good. I'm what am I 5 tasters in, and I've already had the blonde and the American Hero, and everything else is great. I'm looking forward to those 3 as well. So
you got one of the last kegs of the Belgian triple. On right
really?
now. That's
Nice.
what I have too.
I started with that one. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to save this one because I like the Belgians. For
Yeah,
sure.
I do think that might be the last keg in existence since when we
Nice.
brewed it.
Will you make it again?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Never say never.
Yeah, but if not, I get one of the glasses. So
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah. So Phil, you're moving on. You are moving on.
Yeah. Sadly, I am.
Moving back. You grew up in Philly.
I grew up in Philly.
Okay.
Lived there for 21-ish years.
Okay.
And then I moved out here in 2015. And my girlfriend, who's also from the area, we both decided to complete our jobs right about the same time and head back home to hopefully do the exact same thing that we're doing out here, but
Yeah.
also be a little closer to friends and family and figure out exactly where we want to like put down some roots, buy a
Yeah.
house, different things like that.
Nice.
All the adult stuff. I just celebrated my birthday 2 days ago, and I'm feeling every bit of 28 now.
Are you?
So like I'm not getting any younger.
Yeah, Phil, I don't feel bad for you. I was 10 when you were born, so yeah. But no, so how's the craft beer scene in Philly? Like, is it
Philadelphia is actually a top 5 beer market in the country.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, okay, nice.
So when you look at not just breweries that are in the state of Pennsylvania, but nearby in the surrounding areas of like South Jersey and Delaware, and even expanding just a little farther out into like the DC area and even the New York area, they're close enough that we can get their beer fairly regularly. So
Oh,
when you
gotcha.
put those 2 things together,
Yeah.
along with the fact that there's breweries from all over the country that if they gotta be a little choosy on where they distribute to,
Yeah.
they want to go to a really good beer market like Philadelphia. So we get an incredible amount of distribution on top of the fact that we have a very high number of breweries close by.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So your perspective now of the, because I moved out here in 2007, and
From where?
From Ohio.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So like I said, I didn't even know craft beer existed. Killian's was craft beer.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I moved out here, I had I think Beaver Street's Railhead Red was my first, and then Mother Road Black IPA, and it was over after that. I was like, I'm in love with
Nice.
craft beer. Yeah. So
Everybody's got the beer that turned them on to craft beer.
right. Yeah. I always heard people talk about the stories, and I don't really think about it. But then when I really think, I'm like, it was Black IPA. Yeah. You guys,
There
do
you
you remember yours, Tommy?
I didn't even like beer when I was in college.
Okay. All right.
I was in the military, and
Okay.
after getting commissioned and going through Army school stuff, I moved to Germany.
Okay.
And then I tasted some of this beer, and it's like, wow, hey, this stuff's kind of good.
Right?
And the more I had, the more I enjoyed it. I played rugby over there when I was in the military too, and so
Okay.
of course you got to celebrate every win or loss afterwards with a couple of beers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that's where it went downhill from there.
Downhill or uphill?
Oh yeah, uphill.
Renee, what about you? Was there craft beer that you?
My first craft beer, I was working in Yellowstone National Park, and it was Moose Drool.
Oh yeah, Big Sky, right?
Big Sky.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what they had, and in bottles. And one day, I was drank it out of the bottle forever. I'm like, poured it in a glass. I'm like, wow, this is dark.
Yeah. You didn't even know because of the brown bottle.
Yeah, didn't even know. I didn't know I liked dark beer.
Yeah. Now you know.
Now
you know.
right?
Phil, do you remember?
So yeah, absolutely. So being in the greater Philadelphia area, Victory was really, really prominent and popular, right?
Yeah.
So I had Prima Pills at a party for my dad. My neighbor brought over a variety case of Victory, and I had Prima Pills for the first time, and I was like, holy hell, beer can be really tasty. And I was only like 19, I think, at the time, or so. And then I was pledging a fraternity at the time, and we had a celebration for the new pledges once they got inducted. We had a big party, and each pledge was given whatever beer they wanted. So I picked Prima because I thought it was so good. And what solidified it for me was when one of my fraternity brothers was like, hey, here's a Budweiser. Do you want to trade one beer for one? And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. And I started drinking it, and I'm like, I don't like this at all.
Oh yeah.
I know what I like now.
Right. That's all. And Prima Pills is good. The first time I had it was like 2 months ago.
Oh really?
I've never had it. Yeah.
It's still to this day one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah.
I'll go back to it any chance I can.
Nice. It's a
Yeah.
good one.
It is a
It's
good
one. Yes. What is your experience with the Arizona craft beer scene? Because I feel that it's like exploding at this point.
The Arizona craft beer scene is incredible right now. In terms of the entire state, we have, I think it's 86 or 87 breweries at this point. So you want to talk about options? You got a lot of options
Right.
in this state. And one thing that I like is that craft beer isn't just a liquid. It's a community, really. So we look out for each other. We want everybody to do well. At the end of the day, we're all trying to grab a piece of the pie, but we're not trying to really take it from each other.
Right.
More or less trying to take it from the big macros.
Yeah.
You know, the Bud Miller Coorses of the world and stuff like that.
Yep.
And all of their imitation craft,
Right.
as I use air quotes. No, but it's really good. Honestly, some of the best beers that I've ever had in my life have come from local Arizona breweries.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because I work for one.
Right.
But they really are delicious, and as long as they continue to enter into national competitions and win awards like they should, like they have been,
Right.
And continue to get more recognition, it's only going to get better.
Yeah, I agree. I think you guys are part of it. It's pretty exciting to be part of this, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're right. The community is so great. Jared Dubina said it perfectly, where he's like, if you open a gas station, and then somebody opens a gas station across the street, you're like, damn it, because
now you hate each other.
Right.
Now you've got an enemy.
Yeah, where with beer, it's like, okay, hey, I got a brewery, another one open across the street. Cool. People that are going to go there are going to come to ours
Yeah.
too. So, because you don't say, oh, I'm already having a beer here, I can't go across the street.
No.
It's the opposite. It's like, well, I have 5 minutes, I can stop there too,
Right.
So,
One of the cool things too, some people don't really realize this, and I know that we don't exactly fit the mold because we only have our own beer right now.
Right.
But a brewery is one of the best places for me to sell beer to, which comes in the form of guest taps. So even though they make their own there, they want to still support their neighbors.
Yeah.
So they'll sell to us as well.
Gotcha.
Or we'll sell to them as well. Then.
yeah. Nice. Awesome. Guys, thanks for joining me. This has been
Absolutely.
great. Fantastic beer. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming by.
Yeah, for sure. And I got a special guest here too. I got Justin. Justin Cross will be a guest soon, right, Justin? Yeah. Want to come say hi? Sure. Yeah. So Justin has a few pretty awesome things going on. We're going to do an episode pretty soon. So what are we going to do now?
Man, I don't know. Probably gonna drink some beer.
Drink some beer?
We're gonna drink some beer. Probably talk about what I have going on and what you've got going on, and all that type of stuff. But big congratulations to you guys, anniversary today.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah.
We're all here celebrating you guys, so thank you for the beer.
Thanks.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Look out for their beer wherever you're at. See if they got it on tap. If they do, try it out. I love the American Hero Pale Ale. It's one of my favorites. Go over to their tasting room, try their beer out. Awesome place. Coming up in the next episode, it's going to be the first of a running series I'm going to do, a little mini series where I'm going to cover the journey of a person opening up a brewery. So many people in the Arizona beer scene may be familiar with Justin Cross, aka the Alpha Ale. He's really active on Instagram, does a lot of videos when he's home brewing. Dude makes some pretty badass beer. So I'm going to follow him in his journey to opening up a brewery. So periodically, every couple months or so, I'm going to reach out to him, do an episode, get an update, see where he's at. That way you guys can kind of follow the life cycle of somebody opening up a brewery from the idea to opening day. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, always remember, stay awesome.